I'm going to show you how to manipulate data, not only looking for and selecting certain data like with the search box, or displaying data that's associated like to the book, like the details, for example, right, like the reviews to a book. Right here we're displaying data, reviews, but how to manipulate data, like getting summaries or getting aggregates from the data in programming mode. In order to do that, the first thing you need to remember is that these objects in MVC core, when you're using Entity Framework, this data look like objects, and you can manipulate them just like objects. So what we're going to do here in this tutorial is we're going to get the average reviews and the number of reviews for a given book. All right. So that would be very similar to saying if these are purchases of a particular item, would be like the total number of dollars, or the average number of units sold, or something like that. So let's look at this. I'm going to stop my application from running, and this is very simple. Because these are objects, I'm going to go, for example, to my books controller, or reviews books controller, right? The details method is what displays the details and the reviews. Here are the details. This is what includes the reviews, and the model then is passed here. But I want to do a couple more computations, and you can separate what I'm going to do. You can always separate them in separate methods, so we're not private methods, but I'm just going to do it all in one function just to show you what this is like. You can, for example, here do the following. You can say there's a sum here, 0, and then I'm going to compute the average score for each review. Okay, so a sum is 0, and then for each review R in for each, so for each review R in book dot reviews, right? For each one of the reviews in the book, remember, book is the one book that I got from the database. For each review and its reviews, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to the sum. I'm going to add the score of the review. And then what I'm going to do is, I also know how many items are there, how many reviews are there, so I can get the average. And what I'm going to use here, I'm going to use the view bag to actually pass data from the controller to the web page. For example, view bag, I'm going to create a field average review score equals that this will be the the sum divided by the number of reviews. So that would be book.reviews.count. So I have just added the average review score, right? And I can also say view bag total number of reviews is actually book.reviews.count. Right? So now I have two variables that I can actually use in my view. I have two variables that I can use in my view, and they come from the controller, and they're here for free. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to the view. The view that I should go to is details, because this is the details method. I'm just returning a simple view. So let's go to books details, and here, after what I can do here is put, for example, little div tag, and then say label, and this label is going to say average review, and that can be, for example, view bag, and then my variable. It's very important, if you're using viewbag, that this variable is exactly spelled as you spelled it in the controller, with the same capital and lowercase letters and all that, right? So I can say average review dot on, and then I will say viewbag dot total number reviews. I need to check whether this is the exact name. Remember, these names have to be exactly the same, and it's a little bit different. So total number of reviews, right? So now I can use these two variables in my view, and we can test this. So now I have the list of books, and let's see if my aggregate data panned out. I'm going to go to details, for example, for Harry Potter, and I see that the average review, there's nothing there, and says on 2, this is the count, right? 2 reviews, which is fine. There's something wrong there. Now, because, let's see. Well, if I look at this, my view bag average review, this name is not the same name I use in the controller. This is an error you might encounter a lot, right? So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the name of the controller. Now, if this was the problem, and this is the only problem, right, then I can actually change the HTML and just refresh the page. And then you see average review is 3 on 2 reviews, right? So 5 and 2, the average is 3. So this is how you can start putting aggregate data onto your application. So let's look at Lord Jim. There's only 1 review, right? 1 review, and the average is 3 because the only review here is 3, right? That's how you can start using the data that you retrieve from the database for other operations.